Hello and welcome to a very special edition of MJ News Digest. So, I'm going to be concentrating on just one, I guess you could call it a story today. Now, cast your minds back to, I think it was September of last year, when during an episode of MJ News Digest, I read Chris Lacy's article about another part of me. I hope you remember that, and I hope you checked out Chris Lacy's article. So today I'm going to I'm going to devote the whole episode to Chris Lacy's most recent article, which is called Defending Michael Jackson's Bad, a Labour of Love. And I'm doing this for two reasons. One reason, the first reason is because the album holds a very special place in my heart. And the second reason is because I absolutely love the way that Chris writes. I was so excited and honoured to read Chris's Another Part of Me article. It was just so well written. And honestly, this article, Defending Michael Jackson's Bad, a Labour of Love, is perhaps even surpasses the Another Part of Me article. I will be linking the link for this article in the description below, so please check it out. And I'll also be linking Chris's Twitter in the description, and also please check that out. So I hope that you are sitting comfortably, and if you are, let's begin. So the article is called Defending Michael Jackson's Bad, a Labour of Love by Chris Lacy. Chris says, of all the hot takes I've seen on Twitter, nothing prepared me for this one. I didn't think someone could contradict themselves this much in less than 280 characters. Then again, the internet remains undefeated. So Chris is referencing a tweet, and here is the tweet. The tweet says, honestly, the album you all go hard for is easily his weakest. Bad's pop perfection still, but it lacks a coherent theme and in terms of sequencing. Bad's known more for its era overall in terms of its visuals and tour, but it's still the era that feels the most complete. And like most of us, Chris took umbrage at this. So Chris goes on to say, how is one of the most decorated and beloved albums pop perfection, yet easily his weakest? Where do they do that at, fam? Now consider my rebuttal a plea for sanity, or better yet, common sense. Bad is Michael Jackson's magnum opus. The album's legacy on wax, on film, and on stage was a labour of love. No other album in music history had to live up to the global phenomena that is Thriller. With over 66 million copies sold worldwide and counting, 7 Grammy Awards in one night, 7 Billboard Top 10 singles, 2 of which were number 1. 3 iconic short films that instantly bring to mind dancing zombies, red zipper jackets, and glowing pavement tiles. 2 Library of Congress inductions as an album and a short film. And 1 boyhood dream of making the biggest album ever come true. So put yourself in Michael Jackson's black Florsham loafers. Do you retire and become a bankable oldies act? Or do you take an extraordinary leap of faith and show the world that you can do more? Most musicians would have squinted when the big spotlight arrived and coasted on their back catalogue, but not the king of pop though. He wanted Bad to be his best work yet and sell 100 million copies. I love not only reaching a mark I've set for myself, but exceeding it, he explained in his 1988 memoir Moonwalk. Doing more than I thought I could. That's a great feeling. Some people came to see the spectacle, more came to see him fail, and most left blown away. I wish I could say Bad's resume needs no review, but clearly it does. It was the first and only album by a male artist with 5 back-to-back #1 pop singles. Jackson received Billboard's first Spotlight Award for this record-breaking success. It was the first album to reach #1 in 25 different countries, and it debuted at #1 in America and stayed there for 6 weeks straight and remained in the top 5 on the Billboard 200 chart for 38 weeks. Bad sold more than 2 million copies in its first week alone, and it outsold the rest of the top 40 combined. Excuse me. It earned a diamond certification in February 2017 from the Recording Industry Association of America, and worldwide sales are above 35 million, making it a top 15 bestseller in music history. Bad wasn't the commercial juggernaut that Thriller was. No album by any artist has come close, but still, album sales and chart positions don't tell the whole story. The fact that he stepped into a lion's den of expectations and soared to new heights speaks volumes. It's no surprise that Michael Jackson's triumphant return to music put his opponents on edge, and it earned him the fitting nickname the King of Pop. The surprise is how many people ignore Bad's creative and technical leap forward. I hear this often. Michael was a song and dance man. He had the best producers and session musicians behind him. Stop it! Prince had Wendy and Lisa. Stevie Wonder had Robert Margouleff and Malcolm Cecil. The Beatles had Sir George Martin. Does that make their music less enjoyable? Well, of course not. Whether it's one person or a team, great art is meant to entertain and inspire. Bad is the clear vision of an artist working with others to make something profound, personal, and unique. On an album loaded with pure pop classics, some underestimate Speed Demon's high-powered engine, but this ear-scorching funk roadster embraces its dark horse status, swerving past them in slow motion, middle fingers up. Ain't nothing gonna stop me, ain't no stop and go, I'm speeding on the midway, I gotta really burn this road. Fun fact, Jackson wrote the song after getting a speeding ticket on his way to the studio, and Quincy Jones challenged him to turn that experience into music, and Mike returned with a banger. Speed Demon is amazing, Q raved. I mean, Michael's imagination is awesome. You know it really is. He's very unique, man. He stays out of the box, and I love that. A calm coastal breeze runs through Liberian Girl as Jackson's love letter to Black Beauty proves that he never left the rhythm and blues that birthed him. Liberian Girl, more precious than any pearl. Your love so complete. Liberian Girl, you kiss me, then ooh the world, you do this to me. Liberian Girl is one of my absolute favourites of all the music that I've done with Michael, engineer Bruce Swedien expressed. Who could think of a thing like that except Michael Jackson? It's astounding. The imagery and everything else in it is just an amazing musical and sonic fantasy. Bad rightfully won the Best Engineered Album Non-Classical honour at the 1988 Grammy Awards, and unlike many pop stars who hire outside writers to pen their hits, Jackson wrote 9 of the album's 11 songs and co-produced the entire project. Taken together, Bad is a musical Halloween with the production value of an Oscar-worthy motion picture. Each track shows us an artist at play in his creative toy box, throwing on different styles and personas. Excuse me. Another element of Bad that monumentally elevated the music was the short films. We all remember the blockbuster pop moments, the zippers and buckles in Bad, the 45-degree gangster lean in Smooth Criminal, or the carnival ride of pop paranoia in Leave Me Alone. But it's the subtle details in those short films that set his work apart from his peers. Yes, Bad struts its West Side Story street ballet in a Brooklyn subway, and near the 14-minute mark it becomes clear that Bad is a story about freedom, to embrace who we are and let go of what society told us to be. Nobody could take away Mike's blackness simply because he didn't fit in other people's boxes. Yes, Smooth Criminal is an old fusion of Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window and Fred Astaire's The Bandwagon, but did you know that Hermes Pan was one of several celebrities who was invited on the set? He worked with Astaire on many films, and he assured Michael that Fred would be enormously proud of the tribute. Shortly before Astaire passed away from pneumonia in June 1987, he said, "I didn't want to leave this world before meeting my successor. Thank you, Michael." Yes, Leave Me Alone fires a supremely funky middle finger at the tabloids, but it's also cool how you can watch it on mute and not miss a beat. Mike sends a shot across the bow at his critics, cruising through a funhouse of gossip rumours. The Price of Fame shows a life-size MJ crushing the media circus around him, and even though he couldn't escape them in real life, he was a modern-day Charlie Chaplin indeed. Now, thankfully, Jackson's goal to study the greats and become greater never got lost in translation. He earned the MTV Video Vanguard Award in 1988 for changing the way we hear and see music forever. The globe-trotting Bad World Tour, Michael's first without his brothers, made him the greatest ringmaster that entertainment had ever seen since P.T. Barnum. One day in rehearsals, he heard a wrong note, and Michael said, "Let's go from the top," recalls assistant music director Kevin Dorsey. "I thought he meant the top of the song, but he meant the top of the show." Now couple that with the relentless pursuit for perfection and with the murderer's row of musicians supporting him, and you have one of the tightest 2-hour shows and an endless arsenal of hits. And even with the world-class talent around him, boy, did the King of Pop impress. When he performs Another Part of Me on stage, he is connecting to something out of this world. When the groove stirs him, he hoops and he wallers and he claps and he unleashes a flurry of taps on the floor as if his feet are on fire. When he spins to his knees during the axe-shredding rocker Dirty Diana, he does more than plunge into the nightmarish abyss of celebrity fandom. He brings the rock and roll genre back to its black American music roots, and the epic finale, Man in the Mirror, is as close to a religious experience as pop culture can deliver. More than 4.4 million people felt their hearts break, only to have them piece back together stronger than before. I'm starting with the Man in the Mirror, and I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. For him to use those brilliant skills owned to perfection as a 30-year-old and barely rest for 2 calendar years when he could have taken a night or 2 off but never did is something I can't hate on, and you shouldn't either. So we're nearly 35 years removed from the moment we witnessed a musical genius do things that seemed humanely unimaginable. But ignorant opinions are what's wrong with social media. Everyone has a platform, and those with the least amount of information seem to get the most attention. It's one thing to have God-given talent. It's another to have a constant yearning to be the best you can be. Michael Jackson had both, and he delivered every last drop on bad. Go ahead and rank that. Wow. Oh, I love that, Chris. That was amazing. Thank you so much for writing that, and thank you for giving me the permission for reading that. I so enjoyed that, and I think my cat did too. You might have heard Tarek meowing in the background. So please check the links in the description. Check out all of Chris's work over on medium.com, and also hit Chris up on Twitter. You will not be disappointed. Thanks, Chris.